Yes, Arsenal lost 1-0 in pre-season against Tottenham. Let's get into it. Now, yes, obviously we lost to Spurs yesterday and it was a pre-season friendly. And that's the thing. I think people need to relax a little bit because this is a pre-season. Like, don't get me wrong. I do not want to see us being beaten by Spurs. I want to see us beat them 7 times of the week, twice on a Sunday. I categorically, as an Arsenal fan, will always want us to batter those lot. But I think there's just been an overreaction by fans. And look, I can understand some of it because when we're trying to analyse performances. So I'll probably focus more on that than the scoreline itself because the scoreline I could not care about. Even the goal that they scored, I could not care about either. Now, the concern that I do understand is some of the patterns of play that a lot of people have spoken about, some of what I've seen as well. And that is that it isn't that dissimilar to what we saw last season. You know, heavily invested on the right, but not really doing much down the left, and overall creativity being a bit of an issue. So if we focus on that alone, then yes, Mikel Arteta has a lot to do in terms of turning that around because, you know, we're making all these signings, and at the end of the day, if the tactics aren't right, they are the problem. You can make all the signings you want, and yeah, they can make a bit of a dent, but if the tactics aren't tacticking, then you're just going to come up with the same sort of results. But having said that, right, would I want us to test out our brand new tactics against our mortal rivals and a team that we are going to be playing against in the Premier League, for that to be analysed to the point that when we start the season, potentially teams already know what the deal is? Now, even in saying that, I know what I've just said is a bit of a hypothetical, but if you think about it logically, would I want to telegraph some of the new things and new approaches that I'm developing as a manager, as a team, and, you know, showcase those straight away? Thomas Frank has shown his tactics already, and, you know, that's just part and parcel of him being a new manager at Spurs and having a different approach to their past manager in Ange. And we're certainly not going to judge this man's performance too tough, despite rival fans trying to clown it. He did create one shot creating chance and, 15 minutes, if that, on the pitch, especially for someone that's done a lot of mileage in the last week or so. I didn't really expect much, but it was just good to see him in the kit and out there with the boys. I guess what I'm saying is, yeah, there's some valid concerns because we saw the same issues arising from last season, but at this stage of pre-season, I don't expect us to be on it, so I'm not going to judge it too tough. The best time to judge it is next week because that's when we're closer to the start of the league season. But look, these are just my opinions. Let me know what yours are right there in the comments.